To think an illiterate man could author the Quran is irrational. I give you something from history, and because it doesn't match with what you believe, you reduce it to like, oh yeah, I heard this fairy tale, someone told me.
Yes, he's wrong to say that this is something amazing that only a god or
So he's wrong to say that nobody at the time knew about this process.
Yes, so, obviously he would have known.
So he's wrong.
Yes.
Based on what?
Based on just simple.
So which knowledge of the time knew the embryological process?
Miscarriage is like a clot of blood.
So Aristotle didn't see miscarriages.
I don't know what.
Well, Aristotle got it wrong. Galen got it wrong. So who got it right?
I would say got the details wrong.
Got the details wrong?
That's how I would say.
Why got the details wrong?
For instance, the city of Lot, he mentions that. The city of Lut, is that Lot?
Right.
There isn't really a city of Lot. It's a city in the Bible. It's the city of Sodom and Gomorrah.
But why?
They're both destroyed.
No, but you're using the So you're using the
premise. To answer your question.
No, I understand, but you're using the premises of the Bible's the truth, and what came in the Quran is not.
Yes, I can see that's how you would see it.
No, but that's how you've presented it.
I would see it.
You said the Bible's correct, and so the Quran's not.
I think that he heard it from Jews or Christians.
And why do you believe this, though? I'm trying to understand this.
That seems to me the most sane possibility, the most likely possibility. I find the idea that God decided to communicate to one man after 100,000 years of humanity in one place, and then it seems to have communicated different things to different. It seems like every culture has its own religion, so that to me makes me think that they're made by humans.
Or the same first cause sent other messengers to other nations.
Yes, but then but they failed, and that seems to me they failed to pass on the correct message. So for me, I think this all-powerful first.
Do you know how religion works?
Well, yes.
No, I'll give you an example. So if I came, astaghfirullah, back in the day, and I said I'm a prophet,
yes,
you would laugh at me.
Yeah.
And then a miracle would be performed.
Yes.
And I would do something that supersedes anything that you believe is true, is possible.
Yeah.
And you'll believe me. True or not?
Not necessarily. No? I don't think the prophet performed any miracles that I know of.
But Jesus didn't perform any miracles?
No, Jesus did, but the prophet.
So Jesus performed miracles?
His followers he claimed to.
Right. So Jesus performed miracles. Why? So that people would believe him, yes?
Yes.
And when Jesus left this earth, what happened?
Well, that would be an example. When he left the earth, whatever message he was telling
got messed up
very quickly.
Right.
But God must have known it was going to get messed up.
So then what God does in his wisdom, he chooses a pagan city.
Yes.
He chooses an illiterate man.
Yes.
To deliver this fantastic Quran.
Yes.
That in itself is a miracle.
No, for me that's the opposite.
Well, given that, do you believe Muhammad was illiterate?
Now, I've heard this argument.
You've heard it?
Someone, as I remember it, something like...
I'm asking you.
Unlettered.
I'm asking you.
As I understand it, he probably could read and write a bit, I imagine.
No, was he capable of writing authoring the Quran?
Yes.
Why? Where'd you get this from? You just seem to be saying things that suit your worldview.
Well, obviously everyone says things that suit their worldview. I suppose I come from a rational standpoint.
That's not rational. It's irrational.
No. It's not irrational.
To think an illiterate man could author the Quran is irrational. Why?
Yeah, why can't someone? People throughout history have had revelations.
All right. If I said to you, Shakespeare was illiterate.
No, but that's.
No, if I said it to you.
Yes. Okay.
Would you believe he could have wrote what he was supposed to have wrote?
No, obviously he couldn't write if he was.
Authored it. See,
But the Quran and Shakespeare are quite different.
of course it is. Quran's the level to Shakespeare.
I think, well, here's the thing. I don't think he was illiterate, but I don't think
All right.
the Quran is that
So you don't think he was
difficult to
illiterate? Does the Quran say he's illiterate?
have. I believe that the word means something like unlettered, as in he wasn't a scholar, he hadn't studied the Torah and the Bible in depth.
He hadn't studied it, right? So,
that's how
see,
I-
because here's your claim. You're saying Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam memorized the New and Old Testament, yeah, and he memorized the oral tradition of the Jews, yes.
No, actually, I'm saying no.
So where did and he memorized the Apocrypha. So how? Do you know when the Old Testament arrived in the Arabian Peninsula?
Well, I think there would be Jews in
No. Do you know when the
Mecca.
Arabian and Old Testament arrived?
None of us. Well, if there were Jews, there must be an Old Testament.
No. Do you know when the Arabian New Old Testament
Yes,
arrived?
Obviously, neither of us know. Because
We do know.
No, how could
We do know.
But that's not how history works. If there were Jews,
Sorry, remind
some of them
me.
must
Remind me
have
how
known
history
the Torah.
works. Remind me how history works.
If there were Jews
right, what's
living in this Arabian
So when do you believe that the Old Testament arrived in Arabic in the Arabian Peninsula?
Yes, I'm saying I don't know. And
When do you believe? When do you believe?
Well, with the Jews, I would guess, if the Jews were...
So are you saying there would have been an Arabian Old Testament in the?
No. I'm saying if there was, maybe Muhammad would have got his facts straight, to be blunt.
So there wasn't one.
I don't know. I suppose the question is...
No, would you make it? So if there wasn't an Arabic Old Testament or a New Testament,
Yes,
where's all this information come from?
but surely, I imagine the Prophet, he's living in Mecca, it's a trading city, it's a pilgrimage city.
Right.
People come from all over. He's an intelligent
Pagans come there to worship their idols.
Yes, and there's Christians and Jews there.
No, the Christians are not. No, the Jews are in Medina, in Yathrib.
I don't even know if that's true, but certainly they would trade with
Do
each
you know
other.
who they traded with? Why there was a merchant city and why they traded? Who did they trade with?
Well, I actually, in the British Museum, I was told that Mecca was also a pilgrimage site for Jews
Abraham.
and Christians. Yeah, it was
Yeah, no. In the time of Muhammad,
Yeah.
who came to Mecca?
What they said was Christians, Jews, and
No,
pagans.
pagans came to worship their idols, and whilst they're there, the Meccans traded with them.
I don't think, I'm sure if they're Jews living very nearby and round about,
Well, Medina's
there's
not
bound to
nearby.
be some intercourse between them, especially if you're interested in religion. It's not like you won't know what's happening, in the
Yeah.
city. If you're fascinated by religion, you're bound
No,
to
but where are you getting the history fascinated with religion? Why do you believe Muhammad was fascinated with religion?
because he founded a religion.
Yeah, but no, but but again, you're saying things to suit your facts, to suit your beliefs.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but you asked me, which of these
no,
was
I understand what you're
the one
saying.
that makes sense to me. This is
No,
how
it's
I
not-
picture it.
Yeah.
And and you seem to be saying things like, "Well, prove that you read."
No,
the Bible in Arabic,"
no.
whatever.
What I'm saying to you is this.
Well, this is my picture.
No, I'm
Maybe I
asking
can-
you
yeah.
why you believe these things.
Yeah.
And the things you're saying to me
Yeah.
don't make sense.
Okay,
That's
to me,
all.
this makes sense. This is sort of rational. I picture that he lived there. The idea that he had never heard of the Bible or the Old Testament, and then he mentions the flood of Jonah, that would be miraculous because he's telling a story that he's never heard. But
Right.
I think a story like the story of the flood
Yeah.
would be something that people discuss. People,
What's the story of the flood?
okay, that there was a flood, and all people died.
And the Quran?
Except for-
What does the Quran say?
It says the same. It doesn't have. Well, that's what I mean. It doesn't have all the details that you have in the.
No, but the Quran, the Quran doesn't.
It's just a simple.
No, but the Quran doesn't imply a global flood.
Well, I think.
It's a local, yeah, it's
Well, I
localized.
would say it doesn't make clear. It says all the people died, so you can understand that as all the people in that locality
Oh,
or all
cheers,
the
my
people
brother.
around the
Exactly,
world.
okay.
Well, I would say that was an example of you read it in the Bible, and it's a more full and I'm going to say more interesting story.
Yeah.
But the broad brushstrokes of it, the flood and God punishes all people, that would have been known. I think that it's very hard to think that an intelligent person, there's no TV.
No, you keep saying Muhammad is intelligent when he's an illiterate man. I don't understand this.
Well, he was a successful businessman.
No, he worked for his wife.
Well,
I think he left Mecca twice.
I think I see him as being at least in the fact that he successfully ran this religion. He became the leader of Medina and then in Mecca.
Why did the pagan Arabs follow him?
Yes, if he was an idiot, if he was just a sort of thickle who had these strange revelations, I don't think they would have followed him.
No, but why did the pagan Arabs follow him? What did they say about the Quran?
Well, obviously they didn't believe it because they sent him out of Mecca.
Well, they did believe it. They call it sorcery.
Well, I've heard that story again. It's another gentleman.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Sorry?
You keep saying it like you heard this story like it's a fairy tale. You hear, I give you something from history, and because it doesn't match with what you believe, you reduce it to like, oh yeah, I heard this fairy tale, someone told me.
I suppose I'm trying to think what's believable and what's not believable. So I find it, as a rational person, very believable that if you live in a trading city surrounded by Jews, which is visited by Jews and Christians, you're bound to pick up some of the Bible, some of the New Testament, especially if you were
and a bit of scientific understanding as well. No. So what? How do you understand like the embryology in the Quran, for example?
I mean, the things they say are so general. In that age, people would have.
Why do you say that? So tell me what the Greeks thought about embryology.
I don't know.
So when did Europe understand the true nature of embryology?
Oh, much later. But I think to say that at this stage a baby is a leech is not really the science of embryology.
Are you an embryologist?
That's an observation.
Are you an embryologist?
No.
So how when a top embryologist says, what do you mean? Yeah.
I don't believe him. I think that.
So you're not an embryologist, and when an embryologist says something, you don't believe the embryologist.
If all the embryologists said that, I would believe it.
So which embryologist, which part of the Quran do you believe doesn't get embryology correct?
I would say that all I can see when I read it is.
Have you read the Quran?
Yeah, pretty much all of it, I think now.
A highlighted version or proper?
Sorry?
Have you read a highlighted version or you read it properly?
I don't know what no.
Highlighted means just go into verses to support your worldview.
No, it's just I think it's from it's an app, but I think
okay, go on, continue. Go on.
Where was it? Yeah, they seem to be just observations. At such a stage, it's small, then it gets bigger, and then
they can observe inside the womb at that time.
See, here's the thing, you see.
But you can observe miscarriages.
What can you observe in a miscarriage?
You can't observe.
Well, what you observe, it looks like a bloody clot.
Yeah, but you've seen that at once.
So when an embryologist who reads the Quran and says that this information wasn't known, are you saying the embryologist is lying?
I'm saying he's mistaken.
He's mistaken.
Yes, I mean there's a lot.
But he wrote the book The Developing Human, and he's the dean of faculty in the university in embryology.
Yeah, but
and you're Dr. Keith Moore.
Yeah. It's possible to find scientists that believe in.
What I'm saying is, are you saying he's wrong? That's what I'm trying to understand, and I'm just trying to understand what grounds are you using?
Yes, he's wrong to say that this is something amazing that only a god or
So he's wrong to say that nobody at the time knew about this process.
Yes, so, I mean obviously he would have known.
So he's wrong.
Yes.
Based on what?
Based on just simple.
So which knowledge of the time knew the embryological process?
Miscarriage is like a clot of blood.
So Aristotle didn't see miscarriages.
I don't know what.
Well, Aristotle got it wrong. Galen got it wrong. So who got it right?
no one until we invented the microscope.
No.
And we could understand cells, and we could understand.
No, all the invention in the microscope did was confirm the Quran was correct.
No.
No?
It's not.
Read it, my friend. Sir.
You look like you disagree as well.
It's just to say.
I might need you in a minute.
A fetus isn't a leech, so that's wrong. A fetus looks somewhat like a leech. To say a fetus is a leech is
Aristotle and
untrue.
Galen had something to say about embryology, which was
Incorrect.
probably, not complete. None of them mentioned the egg.
No, I think was it.
No, none of them mentioned.
One mentioned menstrual blood.
The Quran doesn't mention the egg, and neither Galen nor Aristotle mentioned it. I mean, to me, that's.
I just,
However,
Before we continue, are you an embryologist? Okay.
but
I don't want to get to that much. I got a doctor here. I'm going to grab in a minute.
some of the things that the Quran says, would you agree that they're similar, at least, to what Aristotle and Galen said?
No, because Galen and Aristotle both got it wrong. Which one was it who spoke about menstrual blood?
I would have said Aristotle, but
And who said that one carried a mini embryo in the sperm?
okay. So they said quite a bit more than.
So what they said was incorrect.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's establish a couple of things. First of all, they've said quite a lot about embryology. They took a shot at it. The Quran says just a couple of things. It's about 4 verses, right?
that's always my feeling. Why didn't he say you came from an egg, you was fertilized by
Of those 4 things, or 5, or whichever it is in the Quran, would you say that those things are roughly contained in what Aristotle said, or are they completely different?
All I can say is this, and I'm not just reaching for authority here, but I'm just going off what an embryologist said, and that's why I quoted him.
I mean, here's what I would say.
All right.
I would look at the Quran and what it said about it, and then I would read what Aristotle and Galen said about it, and I would possibly come to the conclusion that, I think the Quran could have gotten from this stuff that has been around for 1,000 years already.
Yeah, but it would have been look. If
I
Muhammad
didn't say they were right. They were clearly either wrong in places and incomplete in other places, and they're all incomplete.
no, but the Quran got it. Do you accept the Quran got it right?
I would say that the Quran is incomplete.
It's incomplete.
Doesn't mention the egg.
What did
That's a pretty big part.
what did Dr. Keith Moore say? Because you seem to be dismissing this expert.
No, I've seen the video where Keith Moore talks.
Which one? The one when he did it in the Saudi?
Probably.
Have you seen the one he did later on in a lecture
I don't know.
when he's asked why are you Muslim?
I'll look at it when I get home.
It's very interesting because people say that because a lot of those geologists recanted what they said at the time because they realised what effect it would have. Now, Dr. Keith Moore, he hasn't, and he's asked, "Are you Muslim?" Basically, yeah, and he's saying what the Quran says about embryology wasn't known. Now, the question is this: here's the question you see, for me anyway. Why put it in the Quran? Why say this book is correct and perfect and no error, and then put something in there that could be error, yeah, which would mean nothing whatsoever to the people you're talking to. It can only mean something to us today. You can't say something about embryology 1400 years ago, because as far as the companions are concerned, or the people of Makkah are concerned, they can't prove it's true or not. So why would you put something in there that could be a mistake?
I don't know. Maybe we wanted to say something about embryology, and just as Aristotle and Galen.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. So we just happen to get it correct. And if you look at the way the Quran says it, it's not like a scientific breakdown. It's telling man who he is and what he is and where he's from, and he's nothing, and why is he so arrogant thinking he knows everything when you came from a despised fluid? I mean, you know what I mean?
I know, but that's why he says it. It always seems to me, if he wanted to prove the authenticity of the Quran by putting some scientific detail, we'll do it.
No, but the Quran. But here's the thing. Here's the beautiful thing about the Quran. The Quran is not a book of science. Yeah, it's a book of signs. It's just something to reflect and contemplate upon. That's why I asked that question. Why would you care? Why would you put that in there? How's that going to influence people around you? I know. But if this man thinks that Muhammad, this is his original premise, is a mystic, yeah, and he's heard bits and pieces from Jews and Christians passing through town. He said there's no scientific signs in the Quran. and Muhammad's invented this in his mind, thinking it's real, but it's not. Yeah? You went with the delusional. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now I'm trying to ascertain why he holds that view, and you can see why he holds that view because it supports his whole worldview. It has to be that way. If it's not that way,
I don't think it has to be that.
no, for him it does.
I think it's a possible.
Can I just say, I don't think it has to be.
If it's not that way,
No.
you've got no other
It's
explanation.
a little unfair to say
not
to
a
me.
ridiculous
Sorry, I was here first. So it's a little unfair to say to me, "Oh, you for some reason you don't want to believe it, and therefore you're clutching at straws." That's
No.
not fair.
I think what you've done, I'm going to be honest with you, Andy. I'm going to be honest with you. I do believe you've done that. I truly believe.
I want to put it on camera.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand. I truly believe you've tailored everything to support your initial worldview.
You know that
I believe.
You know I can flip that exactly.
How can you?
You're choosing things. So if it says something like he made the world in 6 days, you find a reason why that fits with science. If he says something,
I just said to you. I just said two things. There's no absolutes in science anyway. And secondly, I just said the Quran's not a book of science.
But what I'm saying is, because you're a believer, everything that sounds true is a miracle. Everything that seems untrue can be explained away.
No. I believe that Muhammad was telling the truth, and everything that came from him is from the first cause I initially believe in.
Yes, I can see that you believe that.
And it just so happens everything that he teaches seems to benefit me as a human being in this world.
That's a different argument.
The same argument. It all comes together.
I mean, the fact that it's not surprising to me at all.
That?
You must miss bacon.
I miss what?
Bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Why would I miss bacon?
You don't miss bacon.
I have turkey bacon.
Yeah, I have same.
Turkey bacon.
The fact that it benefits you.
Turkey bacon.
No.
How about this? Would you agree with this?
Go on.
The fact that the Quran benefits you from certain things that it encourages you to do is not proof of its divinity.
No. But married together
Yeah, you must be really with what?
with believing Muhammad told the truth. I don't believe he was a liar. I don't think he was crazy.
Well, if you believe he told the truth, that's game over.
Exactly.
If you believe he was telling the truth, then it has to be the truth.
Right.
Because he said he got it.
But the alternative to the truth is a lie.
That's
No, but that's why we started the initial premise. Is I had 5 variables. He'd give a 6th one. I said he's either delusional, thinking he's having a revelation from angels. 2, he's deceived by a demon, which is pretending to be an angel. 3, he didn't exist.
That's probably not like
No. These are the possibilities. He threw in the spanner in the works that he's a mystic. I still go with delusional, but he says he was mystic, so he convinced himself what he was receiving was true. That actually goes against the historical witnesses who watched when Revelation came and they watched a camel go down when the Revelation was coming and such a thing. Now you can dismiss the history if you like, but then you need to give me a formula to what you accept and reject history upon. Yeah, and then what was the other variable? Oh yeah, he lied. Or he told the truth. Now I'm on the Sherlock Holmes flex here. When you eliminate what's impossible, whatever's left, no matter how improbable, has to be the truth. So I truly believe I can throw delusion and crazy away. I believe I can throw mystic idea away. I believe I can throw liar away, and I can believe I can throw he never existed away. And then I'm left with the truth, and that's the reality. And once that's the truth, that means what he received was from God. So the Quran is from God, just from that point alone. That's why this idea of the first cause and singularity. It doesn't really matter. I'll be honest with you, because once Muhammad claims to be from the first cause, and then because I was explaining to Andy that I can only know about this first cause if it reveals itself. And this man Muhammad claims that this first cause revealed to him its nature. So now we have a name, now we have attributes, now we know our purpose and all of these things. And then when I marry that up with my life, now we're coming to the part about how I live my life, it just so happens that whatever this creator teaches seems to know man better than man knows himself. Because everything that this creator, first cause, advises Muhammad for mankind, what's good for him and what's bad for him, seems to benefit us as human beings. And the things that I'm prohibited from seems to cause harm. Now we can call that coincidence, but when I marry everything together, it just makes everything stronger for me.
Give me some examples.
About what?
The
Benefits. Well, the standard 5 poisons. Sorry, guys, I know about 6 videos have 5 poisons. Anyway,
you can just name a couple.
no, there's 5 of them. Standard ones that you'll recognise straight away. Well, some you might resist because you might enjoy. Who knows? Gambling, drugs, sexual immorality, interest dealings, and what was the other one? Alcohol.
Now, would you say, if I said that without Islam, say in a Western society, Islam, someone might recognize the problems with all 5 things.
Agreed.
And we would see that evidenced in the behavior of some certain people who succumb to those extreme levels.
Agreed.
So it wouldn't necessarily need divine revelation to say, oh, if you gamble a lot, you tend to lose all your money. Or if you drink too much, you tend to be...
Yeah, but you can gamble and win money. And
you can gamble and win money, yes.
well, sexual immorality.
We know...
Where's the sexual morality coming to this?
Sorry?
Sexual immorality.
Well, obviously in a Western society that one's not.
No, we're talking about we're in a paradigm of the 6th century here, aren't we?
No, I was saying that the 5 things.
Oh, you mean now?
I said if we were in a Western.
All right, so you're not trying. So you're just so I understand. No, what? Sorry, forgive me. I may have misread what you said. You weren't implying that those 5 things would have been obvious in the 6th century.
No.
Right, that's why they're in the Quran.
We could discuss that, but that's not.
Okay, that's fine.
I was saying.
So say
Western country,
right, yeah.
We haven't heard of Islam, and we have to make judgments on what's good or what's bad for us. Those things that you discussed, we would see evidence of those being
100%.
quite awful.
Okay, and this is where the problem kicks in, because the people who govern us, who are supposed to protect and care for us, encourage us to indulge in these 5 poisons.
Yeah, but that doesn't make Islam correct. That just makes those politicians.
No. What it means is I can't take that as my guide in life, can I?
I wouldn't take anything politicians said as a guide in life.
So, what? So who guides you? Who guides you?
I was saying, let's take something.
No, but what's your moral guide then? What's your moral compass?
The same as what you just said.
No, what's your moral anchor?
What's my moral anchor?
Yeah. What do you measure yourself against to know if you're a good or bad person?
You would use reason and kindness generally.
No, but what's your moral anchor? What's your standard? To say someone else is, not necessarily you, say they're a bad person.
I don't think you can say it in an absolute sense. We can recognize whether you've treated something kind to someone, whether you've harmed them or not harmed them. You agree with me there. We can generally.
No. But the point here is this: do you have a standard that you can measure against or not?
Whether I do some harm to someone or not?
Okay. Would you drink alcohol?
Yes.
All right. Do you take coke?
No.
Why?
Because that's dangerous.
Would you get heroin?
No.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
So it's dangerous.
So is alcohol.
Yeah, that's right. It's not as dangerous.
But it's more dangerous.
Yeah, if you were to make the argument, and this is what I'm saying, if you were to make an argument that you shouldn't drink any alcohol,
Yeah.
you could probably make an argument for that.
Yeah. I know.
In terms of but you don't need the Islam to do it.
No.
You can do it.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. You're right. We don't need Islam to do these things. Yeah? But you do need a reason to do these things. Right? I'll give you an example.
Well, I think the reason should be
One second.
that you said is this is
No,
the first thing
I'll give you an example.
This is helping me in my
I'm going to give you a working example.
I concede to that.
There's a brother who embraced Islam with us last year. Yeah? You know who you are when I tell this story. Right? He embraced Islam with us last year. And he learnt in Islam how important your mother is. Yeah? We're told that someone came to the Prophet Muhammad and asked him, we know Allah and we know you. After you, who should we listen to? And the Prophet said, your mother. They said, and after that? He said, your mother. Yeah. And after that? He says, your mother and then your father. So 3 times he said mother, which makes it concrete. Right. So now every Friday, he goes to his mum and takes her out for a walk, for a coffee and whatever. Now he could have done that anyway. He could have took his mum any time he wanted to. But when he embraced Islam and he recognised that actually, I can't even believe I ignored this simple thing. So now he takes his mum every Friday morning, takes her out for a coffee, then he goes to Friday prayers and whatever. Yeah? He didn't need Islam for that. but it's Islam that reminded him of that.
Right.
Yeah. Now me, I fell out with my mother. She said some horrible things about me back in the day. Yeah, I refused to forgive her. She phoned me up to ask for forgiveness a while back before I was a Muslim, and all I would say to her is, "I'm not interested in anything you've got to say. I'm not interested in anything you've got to say." And then 7, 8 times, then I put the phone down on her, and she went, "Oh, I've tried." Okay. When I became a Muslim and I realised the importance of mother, I had to find my mum. Yeah, and she says to me to this day, "You're only speaking to me now because you're a Muslim, isn't it?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "Well, I can't believe it." I said, "Well, you should do." Why? Because I didn't realise the importance you are to me. Because this society doesn't teach that. But Islam teaches that. There was another time the Prophet Muhammad says, "May his face be rubbed..." One second. "May his face be rubbed in the dust, may his face be rubbed in the dust, may his face be rubbed in the dust." So physically rubbing someone's face in the dust, right? So the companion said, "Who should be humiliated in such a way?" He said, "That person who finds their parents reaching old age and does not take care of them in old age as they took care of them when they were young." SubhanAllah, what a teaching. Well, this society, we don't do that. So all I'm saying with regards what I'm saying is that the first cause, why I believe the first cause, why I believe Muhammad ﷺ told the truth, then I see the teachings of the Quran, then I see that the Quran is a history of man, a guidance for man, and then the warning for man. Yeah? And I know by following the teachings of Islam, I was asked by an atheist, what if you're wrong? Yeah? What if when you die, there is no God, there is no heaven, there is no hell, there's nothing? Well, I wouldn't know, would I? I'd be dead. Right, that's the first point. So it wouldn't really matter. But then he said, "But you'd have missed out on life." So I said, "Well, what if I missed out on?" Nothing. There is no way of life, and I challenge anyone, I've done this many, many times, bring a way of life better than Islam, that's purer for me and my family. Bring anything.
For you and your family, that's the question.
All right, let me rephrase that. For society, bring a better way. Anyway. Have you got one?
Yeah, it's a totally different discussion.
It's part and parcel of the same discussion. Because for me, the author of the Quran appears to know what makes man tick. Yeah? And motivates. And what guides, what harms and what benefits.
Well, can I?
There's still another part of the brain. What's all that about?
That will run.
There's no camera there, you know that, don't you?
See,
Okay. It's a shock. Yes. Can't even read your writing. Can't even read it. Ibn Battuta. What are you saying about Ibn Battuta? Are you Moroccan?
No.
Where are you from? Well, where were you born? No, you weren't. You were born in a country. You won't tell me. You were born somewhere, weren't you?
Algeria.
I know you were Algerian.
No.
I could tell. You could tell by the colours.
No. What colour?
Is this Algeria?
Is colonial France.
And you seem to love North Africa.
I'm Numidian.
All right.
I'm Numidian. I'm not Algerian.
Okay.
All I was saying is you've picked some of the low-hanging fruit about things we can do in our lives.
All right, go on.
Be nice to your mother. Don't drink alcohol.
Yeah, no.
Don't gamble. I mean, these are. I mean, they're fairly trivial.
Are they?
Huh?
Rights to women, rights to inheritance, rights to divorce.
We don't have the rights that.
No, but we
rights that we
don't
give
forget
women.
all of this stuff came 6th century.
Not the rights that women.
No. In Islam, the rights have been there from day one.
Not in the same way that they're.
Exactly the same way. Exactly. Which right wasn't given to women in Islam that's given now?
Right to vote.
Right to vote.
That happened in this country.
Is that it? The point here is this: women were worthless in that time.
Now, if you want to make the argument that Muhammad improved the situation for women,
No, I'm saying. No, I don't.
But I think
No.
I think to say
See,
that
no. What you've just done now,
the same
what you just did
rights-
now, what you just did now was a Freudian slip, because you said Muhammad improved it. No, the Quran is not from Muhammad. You can't slip from that paradigm. It's not Muhammad who made life better for society. It's God who made, the Creator.
that's fine.
According to what we believe. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if the Quran says you can't do, it's not Muhammad making society better.
Yeah, it depends upon your point of view.
Obviously you have to. It's my point of view, isn't it?
You're a Muslim. That's the way you see
Yeah, but I've not always been a Muslim, have I? Do you get me? So what do you believe anyway? You must be an atheist, isn't it? No, no, no.